Hello everybody, this is Gareth Goon Spikes back here with another video. I'm sure you didn't hear this in the news, um, but it should have been on the news, but you know why it wasn't? Because no Jews, no news. This one here is coming to you by way of Israel, and it's another attack on a Christian icon. But the reason that you might not have heard of it is because this time it was an Arab that did uh, the desecrating, and because there was no Jews, there was no news. Hello everybody, I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you could donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3@gmail.com on PayPal. Or you could also look me up on TikTok, X and YouTube, especially X and YouTube, where you'll be able to see the videos that get banned on not so free social media sites, and you'll also be able to look up my created playlists so you can see the videos that I watch and I like. This one here, the smashed statue of Yeshua Jesus, you probably never heard about. A statue of Yeshua Jesus, several crosses and some statues of saints were found smashed on the floor of a church in Jaffa last week. But unlike the high-profile desecration of a crucifix in Lebanon by IDF soldiers in April, the crime went largely unnoticed. The attack happened in the St. Anthony of Padua church located in Jaffa, a neighbourhood of Tel Aviv, on August 16th, and police were and have arrested a suspect for questioning. The matter was reported in the Catholic news outlet Zenit, presented as part and parcel of the wave of attacks against Christians in Israel, which has almost notably included ultra-Orthodox Jewish men spitting on members of the clergy. So why then has this not been given the wall-to-wall media coverage that surrounded the same crime in Lebanon? Both acts of vandalism were unacceptable. Both were duly punished, but the key difference is that the perpetrator in this case was a Muslim Arab from Israel. The vast majority of Israel's Arab population is Muslim, with a small majority of Christians, and the young man who allegedly entered the church to smash what he perceived as idols was a Muslim in his 20s from the local area. Jaffa is one of the oldest ports in the world, famous for being the place from which the biblical prophet Jonah fled God's charge to preach to Nineveh, and then later when Peter received his vision of unclean animals on a sheet from heaven, letting him know that the Gentiles were not to be included in the commonwealth of Israel. Today, the ancient city is a popular tourist destination, rich in culture with a mixed population, including many Arab Israelis, and is by and large a place of peaceful coexistence. Sunit cited statistics from the Religious Freedom Data Center and painted an incident as part of a wider problem of anti-Christian harassment in Israel. According to the RFDC data, 76 incidents were recorded between April and June last year, over half of which included spitting. Almost 90% of those attacks, which also included harassment, vandalism and physical abuse, took place. in Jerusalem, primarily in the Old City. RFDC is an independent Jewish Israeli organization established 3 years ago by Yesh Harani, a tour guide, scholar, and advisor on Christian and pilgrimage, along with other Jewish Israeli citizens, clergy, and tour guides to advocate for Christian communities in Israel that have been experiencing harassment. Their goal is not only to report such incidents but also to foster a human, direct, and ongoing connection between Christian institutions and Israeli Jewish volunteers, believing that as Israel's capital, Jerusalem should serve as a global model of respect, tolerance, and full realization of freedom of worship for all religions. As repugnant as the harassment in Israel has been, Christians face far less oppression in the Jewish state than those in Muslim nations where physical attacks, kidnappings, destruction, and murder are commonplace. The fact that it was a Jewish Israeli organization, Zanit, turned to in order to establish the extent of harassment in Israel reveals the fact that dealing with discrimination against Christians is a matter of concern in Israeli society, as RFDC figures show that there have been around 100 incidents targeting Christians in Israel each year, but these are dwarfed by the attacks on Christians in many of the countries of the Middle East, both in number and severity. Yet vandalism and violence committed by Islamists against Christians in Muslim nations is often overlooked by the media. Commenting on the disparity in reporting on the attacks in Lebanon and Jaffa, Nathaniel Bozolik posted on Instagram, "It wasn't so long ago that the internet was flooded with a single image of an IDF soldier breaking a statue of Yeshua in southern Lebanon, and every pro-Palestinian and mainstream media account jumped on the story for weeks because it gave them an unmatched opportunity to vilify Jews to the Christian world. But when an Arab Muslim does the exact same thing a few months later, you don't hear a single thing about it." And that is the story. Whenever it's an Arab desecrating a church, there's no news, but when it's an IDF soldier doing the exact same thing, it's plastered all over the world. This is a shame and disgrace. And the fact that this is a story that you've probably never heard of is just another symptom of the fact that where there's no Jews, there's no news. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.